Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is the message for you. All right, let's get started. Here we go. Just had to kick my cat out of here. Shut the door. So we'll see how long it takes for him to start meowing at me. Okay, let's see. Wow, we have a big, it looks like it could be an N or a Z. Oh, and actually it looks like it must be important because it is mimicked over here. Echoed, mimicked. There are two of them. N, or possibly a Z. Let's see, Z and Z. So I would say this reading has something to do with a person with an N name or a Z name. It could really, wow, here's another one. This seems really like an important person to this reading. I think it must be somebody who is in your manifested life, in the physical, probably somebody that you're in contact with fairly often. But something's going on because it's also in this real emotional psychic zone. So something is happening. It seems like some kind of conflict. Even as I'm talking about this, I'm looking at this figure right here, and it almost looks like kind of a lion. And I'm thinking of some kind of like medieval tapestry, and it's kind of a little bit off in proportion, but has a longer neck. Its mouth is open, and it looks like it's kind of screaming. And this is in that emotional psychic zone, and it's kind of going off here into that metaphysical, otherworldly, unconscious part up here on the rim. Okay, so this is like really, really affecting you. But I also think because we have this this lion figure, I think that although it is affecting you, there is like a real sense of fortification, a real sense of being protective of self, trusting self. And I would say that this is more of a feminine lion. It doesn't have like the big mane on it. And so I think that this also really has that kind of sacred mother, lioness, protector, divine feminine kind of energy related to it. And that would make sense to me because, oops, I'm so excited here. That would make sense to me because the card for the reading is the Four of Cups, okay? And so this is from the Thoth deck, and this card is related to luxury and really kind of just an abundance of spiritual wealth. That beautiful lotus with the crescent kind of there at the top, and it is spilling out, kind of flooding these cups with its beautiful divine nectars, kind of the sustenance of the gods, right? And the cups are kind of floating above on this kind of table situation we have going on in these waters. Okay, so this vast primordial ocean, it's a little choppy, but it's not, there's not any big waves, so it's fairly calm. And this really is a place of almost too much, right? The thing about living with a lot of resource, physical, material, emotional, or spiritual, is that there's a fine line between having enough to make good use of it and having enough that you kind of become gluttonous, right? So, but in this in this situation, I feel that I think that when you reach a level of obtainment that has been established through a lot of personal work, and we're talking about spiritual resources here, spiritual abundance. When you have worked very hard, which is really, you can't get there without doing a lot of interior work, self-work, living through the difficult cycles of ordeals, be it in this lifetime or in many lifetimes, okay? So through different incarnations. Either way, you're doing a lot of work, okay? And so there is a sense of, I think, being more careful to kind of to spoil your to spoil the place that you've gotten to, right? You are more mindful because you have a deeper understanding. It's not just kind of this obtainment of random abstract knowledge. This is knowledge that's been transmuted into wisdom. Okay, there is a functional understanding of concepts, of scenarios, allegory, all of the things that go along with not only just looking at a book or symbols or, reading about the way, being told about the way, but actually walking the path, right? Actually doing the operations, doing the different processes, okay? There's a big difference between the two. And we know this with anything in life. My example is I can read all day long about different recipes that I want to cook, or bake, especially baking. I love to bake, but it is sometimes a real weak point for me because I'm not very good at following precise directions on measurements. And if you have ever baked, you know that when you look at it on the recipe and you have the best intentions to follow, and you kind of use a little artistic license or kind of substitute things that you might not have, or whatever it is, things can go awry, right? So I think that it's easy to feel that you understand the self-work because you've read about it and because you've found a teacher who's told you about it. But it's a lot different when you're actually in it. You're doing the thing, right? Well, I believe that you have really, really spent a lot of time doing work, doing tangible work, doing emotional healing, spiritual healing, exploration, and integration, and so on. And it has not been easy for you at all. But I do believe that you have a real self-confidence about the places that you have walked. And it's not pride. There's no arrogance to this self-confidence. This is just kind of a knowing. But also, you know enough to know that you don't really know very much at all, right? that silly conundrum that we have. The more we know, the more we know, the less we know, right? So, I think that, and I'm looking at this right here, okay? And it's an umbrella. And when I look at this, I feel like there is an emotional kind of rainstorm happening. And I do believe that this person that we talked about with the N or the Z name, now I do believe that this is maybe a family member, maybe a friend, somebody that knows you well, somebody that you know well, somebody that you care about, somebody that you've probably cared about for a long time, and they have cared about you for a long time. But as you have progressed through your self-work, as you have, seen and done more things, and you have evolved as a being in your own unique configuration, right? Every path is unique to its experiencer, its witness, its traveler, okay? And so, especially when we get into some more esoteric, higher, I don't really like the idea of degrees or degrees of initiation, but when we get into some work that is pretty obscure, pretty niche, it can start to not make sense to people outside of the know, especially if it holds symbols that they don't understand or concepts that are difficult. Things that are a little more hidden, the mysteries, okay? And there are a lot of groups and systems that, consider themselves secret or private. And we won't get into a discussion of what's good, what's bad, what do they mean, and, this and that. But you can tell I love symbolism. I love esoteria. I love the mysteries. So, I have a wide love for all, a variety, pretty much all different systems. So, I don't hate, but, I would say that as you become a bit more sophisticated or almost appearing to maybe be a bit eccentric to others, that have this feeling that you've changed, you're different, you're kind of, maybe they think something like you're brainwashed. You've been, pulled into some kind of cult or some kind of evil thinking or, whatever it is, because it's challenging to them in their understanding. Okay. And so this person has been fairly hurtful about how they feel about your beliefs, your private beliefs, your spirituality, how you express that. And I wouldn't say that this is a passive kind of thing where they just kind of say something that maybe is a little bit like, that's not really kind, or that's not really true, or, and people just say things they don't mean or they don't understand, whatever. I do it constantly. I'm terrible with words sometimes. And especially in a social situation, you would think I don't know how to talk or express myself at all. I get all twisted up very easily in my words and in my thinking. So I don't know what to say. And I probably sound pretty silly sometimes. So but I don't think it is that kind of situation. I think that this is kind of almost like this person has made it like their own personal mission and campaign to like save you, or, kind of, politic among your family members or your friend group to kind of run their mouth a little bit about what they think you're doing or what they think is wrong about what you are doing, even though they probably have very little understanding or knowledge of what you're doing at all, period. This is based on maybe an aesthetic or a very base understanding of whatever it is that you show publicly, okay? And I feel like this is it feels like a rainstorm emotionally, and also just with the talking, right? And I feel that in a different time in your life, it would be easy for you to get really upset about this. I think that you would take great offense to it. You maybe even would go back and forth sniping with them, or just trying to protect yourself by, engaging in some kind of rhetoric or, debate or whatever. I'm imagining taking to Facebook, to the public forums of Facebook and having a noble debate or whatever, which, let's face it, that rarely happens in these kinds of places. So, I think that you have just really gone through so much of this work away from that kind of energy, behavior, interaction, that it just naturally has come to you to put up boundaries with people who kind of interact in this way. It's just non-interaction, non-engagement. Just kind of shrug your shoulders and, it's unfortunate that you feel that way. Or, if you ever change your mind and would like to talk about it and, or, borrow a book or whatever it is, right? Just kind of a friendly, non-engaging kind of reaction, I would say. Something very benign. And I think that this, this kind of thing can feel like you're being picked on. It can feel kind of annoying, or I don't know, just kind of makes you wobble a little bit. Like, why am I being singled out here? But I also think that this kind of really honestly strengthens your resolve to be kind and empathetic to others, to be supportive to others in their own journeys, whatever that looks like, okay? And I think that that's the true gift here, is that, this person just reminds you that the world is not always very understanding, okay? And, we see a lot of contentious stuff on the internet, on the TV, in the media. But hopefully in your day-to-day life, you're not really experiencing too much of that. So when it does arise, and somebody has been unkind, or even further than that, bigoted or hateful. Hopefully not. It seems like in this case, you have really already outgrown the situation before it even happened, right? And so I really think that this is just going to continue to get you further into that interior life. Not so much that you're isolated or alienated, but I think just the energy that you radiate from that work you do really just deads this whole conversation with anybody else who is in your family. I think a lot of, they just, oh, that's Aunt so-and-so. She's just, she always is looking for some reason, with whoever she can. And I think, unfortunately for her, it's going to be kind of dismissed and probably just like whatever, because I think you're in a really good place. I see this umbrella kind of turned upside down, but it looks like a person really kind of just dancing on it, like turning it into a boat, right? To navigate that little storm that you've been through. I also see right here, we have a heart, which is so pretty because it is literally just one piece of tea leaf, and then it's like love and then I. So I really see that there's a lot of self-love here. There's a lot of impulse, like I said before, to protect yourself, okay? And that's a beautiful thing. I also see down here, and now this one looks like a W. And it almost looks like there's maybe a drop down here, but it looks like a flower kind of coming up from this more metaphysical, otherworldly space. And I almost wonder, is there like a past relative, somebody who is deceased or like an ancestor, somebody maybe you would know of to some degree, that had a W name, that also had some amount of being an outcast or singled out within the family or in their direct kind of community for their own configuration, if it was their belief system, how they lived, their orientation, whatever it is. They did not have it easy because of how they just existed, right? And that's hard. But I think that they really are sending you the message that they love and support you in your choices, in your being, in your existence, because you are just living how you want to, how you know how to, and being your authentic self. And so I feel that you're very much coveted by this person, protected, okay? And I think that maybe, they might be in dreams or reaching out in visions, or you just have a feeling, and I think this adds to that kind of, that real solid, spiritual, self-confidence, okay? And so I want to look. Oh, here we go. That's beautiful. And then we have this beautiful, it looks like a whale with its tail up, and then it has the water coming right out. And this is so, it's like one of the most spiritual symbols, the whale, in my opinion. Just massive, beautiful, swimming through that primordial unconscious, the beautiful frequencies that they communicate over time and space, just the ultimate love, gentleness. I feel like I almost like feel a little teary-eyed, which is kind of silly, but it's true. I just feel that there is just this very watery, feminine energy just surrounding you, and maybe it is you as well. And it's just, I think, highly psychic. I feel like you come from a line of highly psychic people, but you are really have that intuitiveness, the psychic side, but also it's very you have had the strength to acknowledge it and to spend time with it and not be afraid of it, really, okay, as you have gotten older. And I think that there's such a vast wealth of possibility out there for you. And yeah, this might be one of my more favorite readings. It just is it's very nice, very nice, very nice. Okay, let's see. Oh, we don't have a lot here, but I do have a little bird over here. We have what looks like a little L, possibly. And I would say it looks like in the next, I want to say day or week, just one. So 1 week or 1 day. I really think that you're going to have some kind of, I'm trying to decide if this is a message that is going to come through like a dream, or if you're literally going to have a conversation with somebody who knows this person who's really just been running their mouth, kind of. That's going to let you know that you are supported by your family or your friends or whatever. It's just something like this I feel like there's going to be a very affirming, supportive conversation happening. Okay, so I hope that's in the next day. It could be in the next week though. And also just a little bit, I feel like there's just a sense of a really free spirit. I feel like you have a very light, free spirit during this time. And so that's fun. That's wonderful. And I'm going to wrap it up here because it's a nice reading in my opinion. So I want to thank you so much, Aquarius. I'm always so honored. Let me get a little drink here of my tea. I'm always so honored to be able to bring you these messages. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, help me get into the algorithm. It lets me reach more people. And that's been wonderful growing the community here. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please think about doing so. You can hit that little bell button and it will let you know when the next video is coming out. We are on a new schedule. So I am reading two signs every day, 6 days a week. So we will have every sign read once a week. So the next Aquarius will be in 1 week. And in the meantime, you can watch your other placements, your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising. And I know some people watch their Venus. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what fun things are coming up for you. The spring is hopefully getting into full bloom pretty soon, and at least here it has not. It's very muddy and kind of a little bit bleak, but that's okay. A lot of the snow has disappeared. So yeah, we will talk again in just a few days. Thank you.